And we're back for week 12 in the NFL. It is already here. The season is actually, you can kind of say at this point, it's starting to wind down. Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that nuts, man? Yeah, we are well past the midway point now, and we are fully into the playoff stretch run. And what a great time of year, man! This is awesome. Lots of great games this week to talk about. Close point spreads and fun stuff. So this is going to be good.
Absolutely. I'm ready to just start right in if you're ready.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. And I'll hit you with we have a massive bye week this time. We have 6 teams on a bye. They are the Falcons, Bills, Bengals, Jaguars, Saints, and Jets.
And I missed all of that because I'm looking for my stupid pen. I like to write them down.
All good. Tell me when you're ready. I'll say it again.
I think this is right. All right, so we got
So,
Falcons.
yep. Bills, Bengals, Jaguars, Saints, and Jets.
Okay. That's I think the biggest one of the year.
It is. It is. The Fantasy Pros guys that I like call it the Bipocalypse week. But yeah, no, I mean, listen, I have teams that have Brees Hall and Bijan Robinson on them.
Right. So what are you going to do?
Right. So there's going to be some guys that average 8 yards a carry, or I mean 8 carries a game. I mean 8 yards a carry would be awesome. 8 carries a game that are going to sneak their way into my lineup this week probably. So yeah, it's I enjoy that though. I get a kick out of trying to make things work on a crazy bye week. But
Yep.
yeah, it's going to be a trip. So let's dive into the week. That being said,
Let's do it.
now Thursday night we have the Steelers fresh off their big win on against the Ravens at the Browns.
Well, there's no way you can pick Cleveland in this game.
Yeah, right there with you on that, my man.
Now, we were talking last week about the fact that these division games are usually close because they know each other so well.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't. There's nothing that's going to make me say that this is going to be that close. Pittsburgh is playing maybe the best of anybody in the league, other than maybe Detroit.
Yeah.
I'm picking Pittsburgh 27-14. It might not even be that close. I can't see any scenario where Cleveland even makes this really close.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I mean, I mean, the only thing I could possibly see is Jameis just has some kind of crazy Jameis day where he completes like 4 passes over 70 yards, or you know what I mean? Something absolutely insane that is so beyond the realm of reality that I can't
Yeah,
even think
just
about
bonkers.
it.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
right. So I'm with you, man. And I am picking the Steelers, and I'm going pretty close to you, 26-16.
Oh yeah, yeah. We are in lockstep pretty much.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. By the way, the Browns record in the last 10 years versus the Steelers is 4-13-1.
Yeah. So that division stuff really doesn't apply.
Not in this case.
Yeah, to this game.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Cool. All right, let's move to Sunday. Now, we have a team coming off a huge win last night. Is it the writing of a ship, or did they just get the right team to get right against? And that is the Titans at the Texans.
Well, they have. I think the Texans have it 2 weeks in a row now. They
The
played a.
writings of the ship teams?
Yeah, you always say this is a get right game. Well, they've had two of them in a row
I
because
agree.
Dallas is a get right game now, and Tennessee is too, and they're at home for this game. They should mop the floor with the Titans. I don't think they're going to have much trouble with them at all. Um, I can't see any scenario. Tennessee is really, really bad,
Yeah.
and Houston did what they were supposed to do last night against a bad team, and I would expect them to do the same thing now against a bad team at home, especially. I have 30-13. Houston get
Okay.
the win.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me, man. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this one. I think the Texans did exactly what they should have done against the Cowboys last night, and they need to do something like that again. against the Titans to prove that they are heading back in the right direction, because they were staggering for like about a month, um, and let's see if
Yeah.
they right the ship fully this week. I'm very similar to you again. I'm going Texans 27-13.
All right.
Okay, man. Now here we get to an interesting one. NFC North battle: Vikings at the Bears.
Okay. The Bears' record is not indicating the way they've played the last few weeks. They definitely struggled there. They were decent, then they struggled, but they've come out of it. Although they have nothing to show for it with this craziness that's happening to them,
Yeah.
seemingly like every other week.
Yep.
Hail Mary is successful, a blocked field goal. They're at home against a team in Minnesota that I am not impressed with, and I'm starting to get really concerned about. Even though they played better this week, and Darnold definitely played better, I know they're the underdog, but I'm taking them. I'm taking the Bears to get this done 23-21. I don't like what I'm getting, just the feeling I'm getting from Minnesota. It feels like they're regressing back to what we thought they would be at the beginning of the year. Maybe a little better than that, because I really didn't think much of them at all, but
Hmm.
not much better. Not where they're, what are they, 7-2, 8-2?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
8-2 now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not 8-2
I agree.
good. They're good, but they're not 8-2 good.
Definitely agree.
So they're not 9-2 good. So I'm going to go Chicago to finally get it done 23-21 and not have some craziness happen at the end to steal another one.
Right on. I love it. I went back and forth on this one. I ended up landing on the Vikings 18-15, but the Bears are my upset pick. So I was very, very close to just picking them outright, honestly. And I would not be surprised at all if they win this one, because they played their best game in a while. They made, to me, even it was even better than the games that they played, the two really good ones they had about a month and a half ago, because it made more sense in the box score and just the way it looks on the field. They were distributing the ball to the people that make sense to distribute the ball to. It all made sense. So, yeah, I'm picking the Vikings 18-15, but Bears are my upset pick, and I would not be stunned at all if they win.
All right.
Sweet. Now, back to your boys, Cowboys at Commanders.
Well, they can't win at home, so that part's good. They're on the road.
That's awesome.
I think Cooper Rush played a lot better. Maybe he'll be able to open it up, but it doesn't matter. Washington is just clearly the better team. There's no doubt about it. They need this game for sure. This is a division game that does sometimes lend itself to weird things and the wrong team winning and the underdog winning. Um, no doubt about it. Like when Washington was bad and Dallas was good, they still gave us fits. And when Washington's good and Dallas is bad, we usually give them fits still.
No doubt.
Remember, 1-15, Troy Aikman's first year, the one win was against Washington, who was a juggernaut.
That's awesome. I didn't know. I didn't remember that. That's great. I didn't remember that at all. That's awesome.
That's the way it happens in this series. But I can't pick it this time. Washington needs this. They've got to be in desperation mode to get this one done and stay within striking distance of the Eagles. They need this one for sure. 27-21 Washington.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. This is the Cowboys are so beat up. It would be insane to pick them on the road against a good team. With the way the season's gone, on top of all the injuries, it's just impossible to pick. Now, the one bright side, Cooper Rush did look like an NFL quarterback last week. So maybe they can stay in this a little more than I'm giving them credit for. But I'm going to pick Washington 33-15.
Yeah, the one reason why I made it within 6 points is because of the rivalry thing.
Which is totally fair.
Like
Totally
with
fair.
Pittsburgh and Cleveland, it doesn't apply, but Dallas and Washington, it does.
No, that makes yeah, I that totally makes sense. Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, what was your score?
33-15.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just taking away the little bit of the division factor because your half of your team is hurt. Oh, I love it, man. All right, moving on. We got the Patriots at the suddenly resurgent Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean they're at home. They're definitely playing a lot better. Tua's getting more acclimated, more comfortable again. They're starting to look like we thought they would be. There's no reason in here to think that New England can come in and get this done, even though this also is a division game. I'm giving it to Miami 28-17. And I love Drake May. I love everything he's doing. And I know
Yep.
they've been on a bye, right? They were on a bye last week.
Correct.
But still, I got to go Miami.
Um, Wait, they were not on a bye. Hold on a second.
Oh
Hold on one
wait,
second.
wait. You're right. They were not on bye, so it
Yeah,
doesn't
they
matter.
they lost 20. They played the Rams and lost 28-22 or something like that.
Yep, yep, yep,
But
yep.
that's okay. Yeah. And I agree with everything you said there. They did you give your score?
Yeah, 28-17.
Okay, cool. Um, yes, this is an interesting one because I really like what I've seen from Drake May too. He's been super impressive in tough circumstances. This Dolphin pass D is for real. So he's going to have a real good test this week. If he can put up big numbers against this Dolphins pass D, it'll be very impressive. Um, Dolphins, I think, are just too good right now. They're in a different class than the Patriots right now, and I'm going to pick them 30-17.
All right, so we're right there in lockstep. I have Miami in the. I think they've emerged from the lower muck to the mid muck.
I'm with you. I'm with you there 100%. Yep. Yeah, they're a whole different team with a healthy Tua. They really are.
Yeah. Yep.
And their defense, by the way, is like it's crazy because they had this whole Tua situation to deal with this year, which just killed the season for them. But what killed their season for them last year was their defense, and their defense has been very good this year. Their pass defense is top notch. The run defense is okay. Their pass defense is one of the best in the league. So they fixed their biggest issue from last year, but had all these unexpected offensive issues because of the Tua concussion. So yeah, they're I'm with you, mid muck for sure.
Yep.
All right. So moving on, Chiefs get a chance to get right at the Panthers.
Now, my first inclination to this game was Chiefs are coming off a loss. They're going to be pissed and they're going to absolutely annihilate Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not picking Carolina to win this game at all, obviously. I'm going Kansas City 30-20, but I am not on board with Kansas City enough to blow out anybody at this point.
Yeah,
They're not going to
I
blow out
understand that.
anybody. And Carolina is a 10.5 point favorite. I would be all over that if I was betting.
It's
I'd
hard to
be
take
betting
Kansas City in their
on
nationals.
Carol.
Yeah,
Yeah, on Carolina. I would take the 10.5 points in Carolina. Um, yeah, I couldn't. I don't think there's anybody I would take with a 10.5 point favorite at home or 10.5 point underdog at home. I don't think there's anybody I would pick as the favorite on the road. Maybe Detroit against Carolina. I could
yeah. I
see
mean,
that.
Detroit Detroit would have covered a 40-point spread on the road last week.
Right, but
So yeah, I think that's the right one to take. Yeah, I'm
but
with you.
not Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City, man, this is fascinating. Now, the one thing I will say is I can't see the Panthers scoring 20 points on that Kansas City defense. So that's where I would disagree, but just splitting hairs again. Um, I'm going to go Chiefs. I think I wouldn't bet on it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they cover because the Panthers are that bad. So I'm going to go Chiefs 23-7. They cover, but it's ugly still in offense.
Yeah, I could see that. Definitely, that makes sense.
Okay, man. Now, here's a team coming off of a bye. Well, I guess two teams coming off of byes: the Giants and the Buccaneers. Buccaneers at Giants,
And you know who's quarterbacking?
and you called it,
Tommy Cutlets. Let's
Tommy
go.
Cutlets. Let's go. I
I
love
knew it.
it.
I knew as soon as that, like when the discussion started coming up of Daniel Jones was going to get benched, I'm like, they're not going to go with Lock. Why would they go with Lock? The season's over. You know what Lock is. Let's find out more about Tommy Cutlets. And last year, he really invigorated the fans a little bit. He was
Yeah,
exciting.
if you look at his stats, they're pretty solid. He was like 8 touchdowns and 2 picks or something like that.
Yeah, he was
Like,
solid as a rock, man. So
and that was after throwing for 17 minus 17 yards in one of those games too.
I think the first game against Dallas, they didn't let him throw the ball down the field at all.
That's what it was. That's what it was. It wasn't on him. It was on the game plan.
But then they let him, and he's much better. Um, Clearly the pick. Now, do I think Tommy Cutlets is enough to let them win this game? Tampa Bay is kind of floundering a little bit. They're not playing they've gone downhill in my eyes. I mean, they're missing their receivers.
Yeah.
So I mean
Yep.
that's really what's going on here. But they're still a better team. Tommy Cutlets is fun. We'll have a lot of good times with him in terms of his exciting play. But in the end, the better team's going to win. The Giants are awful at home. Maybe that's Daniel Jones because he's awful at home, but we'll see. I would not be overly, crazy surprised if the Giants pull this off, but I can't pick it. I'm going to go Tampa Bay 24-17.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Um, I mean, nothing definitive, but potentially huge news for the Buccaneers. Mike Evans was on the practice field for the first time since that awful hamstring Terry had in on that primetime game 4 weeks ago. Um, so if he's back, there's nothing definitive at all. But if he's back, that's massive.
Yep.
Uh, and like you said, I can't. The Giants are just too bad. I just can't pick them. You know, they're like it wouldn't stun me if they won this game, but I can't pick it, man. I just can't do
No
it.
way.
So whereas Tampa has been very good at times this year, they haven't been the last few games because of the injuries, but they have at least shown the capacity to be good, unlike the Giants. So I'm taking the Bucks in a close one, 23-19.
Okay. Yeah, we're right there. I had 24-17. Yep.
Yeah, man, we're in the same ballpark for sure. For
Yep.
sure. All right. Last of the 1 o'clockers, Lions at Colts.
I mean, you think they're going to just smoke them? I think they're just going to smoke them.
Yeah, I mean the X factor here is Anthony Richardson. If he plays well again, that could
Right.
keep them in this game, maybe. But I don't see it being that close.
Me neither. I have 31-16. Detroit right now, even though they're not the defending Super Bowl champions, they are the juggernaut right now. I'm
Yeah, no
sure
doubt.
they'll drop a game that we're not expecting. I don't think they're going to go 16-1, but I don't see it being this game. This is going to this yeah 31-16, handily defeating the Colts. I'm not can't predict 50 points, but would I be surprised? No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, right there with you. Right there with you. Yeah. No, the Lions are beasts, and it would be. It's gonna. The thing that's going to be really interesting to see between now and 6 weeks from now, at the end of the season, is are they able to maintain this the whole way? Because they had one bad game all year so far, and that was when Dan Campbell took responsibility for making a silly call. Um, and other than that, they've been
And
very consistent,
yeah,
and at times incredibly good among their very high bar of consistency. And then, like last week, they went even better than that. So, yeah, they're just a juggernaut, man. And I'm going to pick the Colts. The Colts. Sorry, I'm picking the Lions. I'm picking the Colts to stay a little closer than you because Anthony Richardson will get a garbage time touchdown at the end and make it 34-24,
okay, that makes
but not a
sense.
close game.
So
All
really
right.
going into the last drive, it's 34-17.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep. And Anthony Richard uncorks one of those crazy bombs to Alec Pierce and makes it look a little more respectable, but it's not really. All right, man. Moving on to the 4 o'clockers. First one, Broncos at Raiders.
Well, I mean, we waxed poetic on Denver in the last podcast.
Yes, we did.
Really put them over, and
Yep.
we can't talk like that and then not pick them against a really bad team. So
Fair point.
there's no chance that I'm picking the Raiders. I have Denver winning this handily. The state of the Raiders, I don't even know where to begin with them. They are just lost, and I don't know what the plan could possibly be. They don't. I don't know. What do you think is going on with the Raiders?
Yeah, they're just absolute trash. They I still don't understand. It's almost like the owners set them up to fail this year because I don't understand how they thought they could possibly be competitive rolling into this season with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell.
I know, and they need a quarterback so bad.
Badly. I mean, as bad as any. It's like when Denver was desperate for John. As great as John Elway was, he was a failure at finding quarterbacks. And when he finally brought in the Peyton Manning and got that Super Bowl, when Peyton Manning had less left on his fastball than Jeff Weaver in his last year,
Yep. Yep.
um, you know, but so the Raiders are stuck in that if we don't find a quarterback, we're screwed every year. So they should end up with a pick that could give them a shot at a quarterback this year, unless they win a couple stupid games
Right.
and blow that for themselves. So we'll see. But the Broncos are in a whole nother class. You said it right. We wax poetic, and deservedly so, because these guys are very impressive relative to where I think both of us thought they would be. And I'm picking them huge. I'm going Broncos 37-14.
Wow, 37-14. By the way, I don't know if I told my score. I have 28-15.
28-15. I like that too. Nice.
Yep.
Nice. And no picks, Bo Nix.
No picks, Bo Nix.
we got to trademark that and send it to his marketing team. Oh, beautiful. All right, my man. Next one. And there's some great 4 o'clock games, by the way. The next two, very interesting matchups.
Yes.
Cardinals at Seahawks in that absolute deadlock of a of an NFC West division, with the Cards leading everybody else by 1 game.
I tell you what, man. This is a really tough one because it's in Seattle.
Ah,
Really, really tough.
no doubt.
Two teams that are very hard week to week to figure out. That the entire NFC West. Every team is hard to figure out.
It's been
I
so
don't know
weird,
what the
man.
Rams are. I don't know what the Niners are. I don't know what Arizona is. And I don't know what Seattle is.
I'm right there with you. I can't figure any of them out.
Now, normally in this situation, when I just simply don't know and have a hard time picking, I would go with the home team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going against that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually picking Arizona to start to get a little traction here because they have been the best of them, not consistently, obviously wildly inconsistent, all of them, but they are in first place,
Yeah.
even though it's just by 1 game. I'm going to go Arizona 26-20 and get this done.
Okay. Okay. Well, have we had any differences so far?
I think we had Minnesota and Chicago.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, well, here's our second. And I went back and forth on this. I agree with everything you said. I just landed on the other side because it's such a tough one to figure out. But I mean, talk about, the Cardinals and the Rams, we've been talking about all season as being, from week one, as being hard to figure out. The Niners and the Seahawks have joined them on that list. We had the Seahawks anointed as a super solid team, early. Well, they have blown that. But they came back and had a nice win this week against the Niners. They're at home. I don't know. I'm going to take the home team.
I don't know.
Seahawks 26-24.
So you got a real tight one, real
Real
close.
tight one, because I'm not going to be surprised if either team wins. I'm not going to be surprised if it's a close game. I'm not going to be surprised if either one of these teams blows the other one out. No outcome of this game will surprise me.
All right. Well, pretty funny. Okay.
Love it. All right, the last of the 4 o'clockers, and a huge game for both teams. 49ers at Packers.
Can you do me a favor and check the line for this?
I had it as -1.5 Packers, but let me check right now because that was last night. So let me just check again,
I think
see
I
if
had it at
anything changed.
2.
49ers. I'm the slowest type. I usually do voice search, so I don't want to do that on the pod. But I'm a very slow typer. Forgive me.
You could mute it. We have a mute button.
Oh, see, if the problem is with my big ham-handed sausage fingers, I would probably just hang up on you.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Okay, I'm still seeing them as -1.5, but 2
Okay.
is right there with it, so it could be either one.
Okay. Well, it's kind of odd to say because it's San Francisco, but they're on the road in Green Bay. It's probably getting a little chilly there now. I don't
Hmm.
know if it'd be technically the frozen tundra, but I'm sure it's cold.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yep.
And I think it's clearly Green Bay's the pick over San Francisco. And it's weird to say San Francisco's window may be closed. May have closed. They may have missed their window, and now they might be on the back end of it. Um, and yeah, they're like a five. Yeah, they're a 500 team right now. I'm going Green Bay 27-24, but because they are the underdog, my upset pick is the Niners.
Love it. Love it. That makes perfect sense. Yep. Absolutely. Okay. Okay. So everything here points to the Packers, and that is why I'm picking the 49ers.
Yep.
Every time I thought I've had a handle on the Niners this season, I've been wrong. Every time. And this looks like clearly like a loss to me, so I'm picking them to
Makes sense.
win. Now, I hope I'm wrong because I would love nothing more than for you to be right about that window passing. And I'm right there with you. I'm eyeballing that too. It could be.
It could
Um,
be.
it really could, because this doesn't make sense that they're 500 right now. Is it a coaching issue? Is it a personnel issue? I don't know, man. But they
I think their
every
coach is really good.
you would think, right? But how are they 5-5 with that personnel right now?
I don't know.
Right? I mean, listen, he has a track record of success, so I'm with you. He's been a good coach, but this doesn't make sense for this team to be 5-5. It's not like their quarterback was hurt, or you know what I mean. It's not like they have a laundry list of injuries like the Cowboys. You know, like it doesn't make sense. So I don't know, man. All signs point to the Packers. I'm going the 180 and picking the Niners 28-27.
You picked quite a few close games.
I
This
sure
is
did, man, because there was some I just didn't know which way to go. Every time it was a close score, that tells you I wasn't sure about the pick.
yep. What a
All right,
great
man.
4 o'clock slate, though. Arizona, Seattle, San Fran, Green Bay.
That's beautiful. Yep, that's good stuff, and we're going to find out a lot this week. The whole Western NFC West is going to be shaken up every week now. You know,
Yep.
so if the Cards win and the Niners lose this game, and who else is in that division? Who am I
Seattle.
forgetting? Oh, and the Rams, which is coming up, because the Seattle would lose by the Cards winning. If the Niners lose and the Rams lose, the Cardinals would have a two game lead then, and a tiebreaker on the Seahawks at least. So that would be wild to be in that spot, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Whew. Okay. Well, speaking of that last team in that division, we moved to Sunday night, and we got my Birds going up against the Rams in where do the Rams play now? L.A.
Yes.
Okay. I almost put them back in St. Louis. All right.
Well, um, Philadelphia is on a roll, obviously, but the Rams are kind of up and down. But they've been more up than down lately. They looked pretty good. Let me just refresh my memory on their last game there. Um, right against New England. I mean, it's New England, so it's nothing special. But they really look good. They've got their full complement of weapons back. I do think they're going to be able to score some points even on that great defense. Not a ton of points. I got them losing though. I'm still going with Philadelphia. I can't pick against them right now. We mentioned it before. Right now, there's very few teams I would pick over Philadelphia, no matter home field or not. So I'm going to go Philadelphia, but I am going to give the Rams a fighting chance here. I'm going 28-20. They're going to be
Okay.
within one score. And it might be 21-20 late, and then Philadelphia gets one more touchdown to kind of seal it.
Right on. Right on. That makes a lot of sense to me. I can't argue that at all. I'm going to go to the bottom line first, and then I want to break down one thing here. I'm going Eagles 27-23. I feel good about their chances to win. I'm making it close because I'm nervous about the road game and because they've just won so many games in a row now. It's they're bound to lose one eventually. I don't think this is the one though. The thing that I cannot wait to see in this match, and we talked about it on the previous episode, how the Eagles' young cornerbacks have emerged and all of a sudden given them arguably one of the best secondaries in football. Well, they are going to get tested this week, and they're going to get tested big by Puka and Cooper Cup, and this is going to be really fun to see because you're going to get to see Quinion Mitchell cover one of them whenever they go outside, but both of these guys play out of the slot a lot too, which means you're going to get to see Cooper DeJean. cover one of them. So on a lot of different plays. So this is going to be a really fun matchup. The Birds' run defense has been very good too, so it's going to be a challenge for what's his face,
Karen
Kyron,
Williams, Kieran
who
William.
we both just talked about in the previous episode. How impressed we've been with him, and so it's a challenging game on all fronts for this very good Eagles D. So I can't wait to see how they stand up to this.
Well, you got it even closer than me, 27-23.
Yeah, absolutely, and I that's in total respect to the Rams offense
And they're
because
at home too. You got to that
yeah,
helps.
the home factor and the respect to their offense is the exact reason I made it close. The point spread is only Eagles -3, which I thought was a little light, honestly, given how the Eagles have been playing and blah blah blah. So I don't know. It's a fascinating game, man. The Eagles are now the #1 total yards per game defense in football. I'm blown away, and I can't wait to see how they stand up to this very good offense that's kicking pretty good right now, man. So this is a good test for them. Eagles 27-23.
Okay. Yes, I totally agree.
All right, all right. Now we go to Monday night, and boy, what a fun game! Maybe the game of the week amongst a few other candidates. Ravens at Chargers, and I'd like to say real quick before you go to town, again, the Ravens, who are now a four-loss team, are a -3 favorite on the road, like they were against the Steelers last week. Isn't that interesting?
It's interesting and wrong. Baltimore, they have? They're 7-4.
Let me double check. I know they have four losses. AFC. What are they? They're the North.
Yeah,
Okay, have it in a sec. Here we go. Yeah, they are 7-4. Yep,
and the Chargers are 7-3 because they had the bye,
correct,
and they're at home.
correct.
How is Baltimore a 3-point favorite?
Yeah, that's. I mean, that just tells you though. It's a lot of times this stuff is the reputation of the team more than the facts of the team. And this is one of those cases. This line jumped out to me as much as the last 2 weeks with Atlanta's point spreads, where I said both times that this clearly says take the other team, and Atlanta lost both games. And this one screams out to me like this too. So where are you landing on this one?
I'm I'm going with the Chargers.
Love it.
27-26, 1 point game, but I'm going
Ooh,
with the Chargers. Um, I know technically it's an upset, but to me it feels like this is like a pick 'em kind of a game. You can
I
go either
agree.
way with this. Um, so I'm going Chargers. They're the home team. If I, in my mind, think this is a pick 'em, a lot of times I go with the home team, and that's where I landed.
Yeah, man, it makes sense to me. And oddly or coolly enough, I also went with a 1 point Chargers victory, 31-30.
Oh, I thought for sure we would be different on this one.
Yeah, well, listen. Listen. I'm as big on the Ravens as anybody, as at least I have been for most of the season. But I can't keep thinking they're the best team in the AFC when they've lost four games and games they shouldn't lose. So
And this
it's
is a
I got
legit tough one.
listen. I couldn't be more the Chargers and the Broncos are the maybe the I have to really think about it, but they might be the two most impressive teams in the NFL this year as far as my expectation versus where they are now.
I would agree. Yep.
I'm blown away. I thought they would both be good down the road, but I did not expect it to be this soon, especially Denver with Bo Nix and the Chargers with first year of a new regime and looking as bad as they did the last couple of years. So, yeah, blown away with and super impressed. And I cannot wait to watch that game. That is a super exciting game. I cannot wait to see how that goes.
Fantastic. Yeah,
Love it.
totally agree.
All right, my man. And that is week 12.
Week 12. So our upset picks were San Fran for me and Chicago for you. And then we have a couple of actual official upsets as a picks as well. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we got upsets all over the board this week, man. I like
Yeah.
it.
And the
um,
penalties weren't crazy. There was a couple bad ones, bad games this week, but overall not too bad.
that's
And
great.
it seems like as the season's going on, people are committing less penalties, making less mistakes, and that it all goes back to the beginning of the year when it was so bad is because these guys aren't practicing enough.
Exactly. Yeah, the lack of the preseason has changed everything, man. It's changed everything. And we're just going to have to, until the NFL figures out a way to compensate, if they can, we're just going to have to get used to the first 4 weeks being weird and sloppy.
Yep, and really not meaning a lot because that's when Detroit lost their game.
Exactly.
That's when Baltimore lost some
The
games.
Eagles were 2-4 coming out of the first 4 weeks, or 2-2. I mean, sorry, two and
Yeah,
two.
yeah, yep. And yeah, you can't take too much from it. If you think they're a good team, they'll show it eventually, and just give them some time. And they're all of them are pretty much are showing it, and with a couple surprises.
No doubt, man. No doubt. I'm so with you. It's been a fun, fascinating season so far, and we are just kicking into full gear. So cool.
Yeah,
All right, my man. Now we have schedules, and you want to hit some true or false real quick before we dig into the long schedule thing?
yeah. True or false?
All right. All right. Now, one of these is just a discussion point I wanted to hit you with. So I'll hit you with this one first. It's obviously, we're well to the point where we know Mike McCarthy is going to be gone at the end of the season. But we haven't discussed yet, other than me poking fun at the idea of Bill Belichick ending up there, we haven't had a real discussion about who you would like if you had to pick right now from the available candidates.
Uh, I
Have you
don't even
thought
know
about
who's.
this?
I don't know who's available.
Well, I'll tell you my number one candidate going into this off season, and I can't remember his damn name because you know me and names, but it would be Detroit's offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson.
Oh yeah, I would take him. I would definitely take him. I like that a lot, but I don't think that's going to happen because that's not a big enough splash.
Yeah, well, Jerry's Jerry. Yeah,
Jerry's Jerry. So it's going to be one of two guys.
who do you think?
It's
Belichick
going
and who?
it's going to be either Belichick, which I think it will be Belichick,
Mm-hmm.
or Deion Sanders.
Oh my God, I didn't even. Oh my God, that would be crazy. Oh, that would be so awesome.
Did you
oh,
watch that pathetic fight on Saturday or Friday, whatever the hell it was?
Tyson and what's his face, Paul?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it was a joke. Yes.
it was awful. But the women's bout before them was incredible.
Oh, that was badass. Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
great match. What I wanted to get to was the fact that earlier in the night when they were just kind of getting ready, and they were on the air with like pre stuff, and they interviewed Jerry Jones, and Michael Irvin was right there, and Michael Irvin made it pretty clear he's going to be in Jerry's ear to hire Dion.
Interesting.
I think
What would you
Dion
think
has
of
a
that?
shot at this.
What would
Well,
you think of that?
I think if that happens, they're also going to have to try to move up and get his son.
Yeah, yeah.
They might have to do that. Um, I don't know. Uh, if he's okay with him not coaching his son, which that might be the deal breaker for him, he might want to just go wherever his son goes,
Yeah,
which will be a bad team. So that will probably be a team that would be okay with the new coach, no matter who it is.
right.
So he might just force that. But if he's okay with not coaching his son, because I don't want Dallas to pick him, or especially to use capital to move up to pick him,
Mm-hmm.
I would be okay with Dion too. I would be okay with Dion. I think he would definitely bring the right splash factor for Jerry, but he's got some success on the college level, and he can handle the media obviously and the spotlight obviously, and he knows football and he can definitely help.
I am fascinated by that possibility. That would be a real trip. I didn't even think about that. I know there's been talk about him going to the NFL this year, but I'd never even entered my mind to put him on the Cowboys. That's priceless.
Yeah,
That would be great.
to me, the only factor would be the fact that the son, his son's the factor that he's been coaching his son his whole career, and then he would probably not be able to do that if he's on the Cowboys, and if it matters that much to him, then the only one left is Bill Belichick, which is where I think they are going to land.
That's interesting, man. And I will say there's a chance that the Cowboys might not even have to trade up to get him the way they're going.
Right, exactly.
So maybe that alleviates one of those issues.
Yeah, but the
Maybe.
thing is, what do you do? You got 3 or 4 years left on Dak's deal. You're
I
paying
know that's
$60 million a year.
he just re-signed him. Yeah, that's I didn't even think about that. You're right. Yeah, because Jerry really pot committed them this season.
I mean,
This offseason.
you would have to sit him for 2 years minimum.
Yeah, no, you're right, and there's no chance, especially if Dion's the coach, no chance. So yeah, I'm with you. Okay, that's absolutely fair. Now, just so that while we're discussing this, I'll just throw out a couple more names that are being tossed out there for head coaching positions. Mike Vrabel is sitting out there.
I don't want him.
I don't either. People are throwing out Cliff Kingsbury. I'd rather hire, Bobby Bowden out of the
Yeah,
grave than
yeah,
him personally.
I'm good.
Uh, eh, Sorry, I talked over you. What were you saying? I'm
No, I
sorry.
said I'm good with him. I don't want him either.
Right on. Aaron Glenn is an interesting one, the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Who I personally I don't think he's a great candidate yet, but he's interesting. He's on people's radars.
Yep.
Liam Cohen, the Bucks offensive coordinator, and the defensive coordinator for the Vikings, the guy whose name I don't have because he didn't pop up on this list, even though he should have. The guy who was the head coach of the Dolphins a couple years ago and got screwed, fired
Oh,
way too soon.
Brian.
That's
No.
it.
Ah, yes, I know. We were just talking about him. Man, Flores.
Brian Flores, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so that guy's a very interesting guy that's sitting out there too to me.
Yep.
But if I was hiring a
I
team,
would
if I
take
was
it
hiring a
out of
guy
them.
this year,
I would take any of those guys, but I'm telling you, I really think now it's going to be Belichick.
yeah, I think you're probably right. I kind of hope you're right. And if I was a team in the need of a head coach this year, I would go court press after Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I think he's the guy out of all the first time candidates. He's the guy.
I agree. Yep, yep. All right, cool, very cool. All right, now a couple more. True or false? Lamar Jackson lost the MVP race this week.
To who? Josh Allen?
Yeah, that would be my. I'm assuming he's second
I
on
mean,
most people.
you know that I've been saying all along. Josh Allen is right there with him.
Hmm.
I've been mentioning that for weeks now.
No
That I
doubt.
was conceding the fact that Lamar was a leader for MVP, but I kept saying Josh Allen is right there,
No doubt.
and he's right. He's still right there. I think they're neck and neck, and it can go either way at this point. But they're
Yeah,
neck
I
and neck.
agree. I would say false to my question. I don't think he lost the MVP race in one game, but I think it just got a lot closer. I think he was the leader in the clubhouse, and only having a game like that was going to let Josh Allen creep closer in the public perception, and it definitely happened.
That run is the highlight run.
Oh, that was great. That was
The Josh
incredible.
Allen run. That was it. That was the
Yep.
highlight of the week.
That was beautiful, man, and yeah, Beast, and no wonder he should have gotten the nickname Beast
Yeah.
from Jim from Harbaugh. All right, next one. Anthony Richardson will not get benched again through 2025.
Through 2025.
Yep.
If you said through 2024, I'd say true.
Yeah.
2025, I don't know.
Right, and that's where I'm at.
That's impossible because if he reverts back, or I mean, we're going off of one game now where he played okay, pretty good.
Right.
Um, but I still think that one game will carry him for the rest of this year. But if he struggles the rest of this year and struggles at the start of 2025, they're not going to stay with him.
I know. That's yep. Hey, that's
And we're
why we
going
ask
off
the
of
tough questions.
one good game. I'll say I'll say false that he will get benched only because there's so much time from now to then. Too many things could happen, but I don't want it to happen, and I would definitely not be surprised if he never gets benched again. But just the fact that we're talking over this is a long span, and we're only coming off of one good game, I'll say yes, false. He will get benched.
Yeah, that's a legit answer. I don't know what to say with this one because there were clearly some work ethic issues with Anthony Richardson. There's too many whispers for none of them not to be true. And he came right out and said something about how he's like going to more meetings now, which is crazy. um, so if all that stays in effect, he clearly has potential at the wazoo. If he's now taking his homework seriously, like a good student, then I think the odds are pretty good because he's got talent, big time, and he was the first round pick. They are committed to him for at least another year, but I can't say true either. It's the odds are too much against it, so I can't either. All right, now this one already got answered. I wrote this on Sunday night. Doug Peterson will be fired between the time I write this and the time we record. I really thought he would be. I really thought he would be.
He still has a job.
I can't believe it.
I guess they're one of those teams that doesn't want to do it in season. They're going to wait till the off season and he'll be gone.
And the other factor that I heard is Shahad, or whatever his name is, Khan, the owner, is still paying the previous two head coaches who both
Yeah,
got fired early in their deals.
they got
So,
more money than God, though.
yep, absolutely, absolutely. But it might get him through the season.
Right. I'll tell you what, with the offense that they have there, which is still pretty good personnel wise, that Ben Johnson guy, if he went there, that would be pretty
That
good.
that's an interesting one. Yeah. Now, but here's my question: is Trevor Lawrence good?
Yeah, we'll find out.
I still don't know after all these years. I don't know what to make of him. Like
I
yeah,
thought it was answered when he went to the playoffs that time and played
me
pretty
too.
well, and then he completely reverted. He went backwards the last couple of years.
Yes. So I don't know. Is it just that this situation went south and he went south with it because it's tough to overcome bad situations, or is he just not good? I don't know. I can't figure it out. So yeah, that would be if somebody like Ben Johnson ended up there, then we'll know for damn sure because that dude can coach offense and we know it. You know.
Yep, yep, yep.
All right, love it. Okay, now here's my favorite, the last one, and my favorite question of the week. Malik Neighbors will end up being 5 years from now will be the best receiver in the 2024 draft.
True.
Okay, and you didn't seem to have to think about that very long.
No. Um, I just think he's better than Harrison. I think Harrison's very good. I think he's even better. Just and that's not anything I can cite statistic wise. It's just the eye test.
Yeah, and he is better statistically so far too. But here's the guy that I'm considering. See, I'm going to say false to this only because the odds are in my favor. Because there's one, two, three, four, five, six other receivers taken in the first round.
Yep,
Now, there's one I don't think has a shot to make this, and that's Xavier Leggett. Ricky Pearsall, who knows? Too early to tell. Xavier Worthy, early returns, not awesome, not terrible, but I don't think he's going to be that guy either. Now you get into where it gets interesting. I would take Neighbors over Harrison if I had to pick 5 years from now based on this year for sure. The one guy, though, that is real close to me is Brian Thomas Jr.
yep.
That is the guy because he's doing it in as bad or worse circumstance as Neighbors, and he's not. They're treated completely differently. Neighbors is putting up massive catch numbers, but averaging like maybe 11 yards a catch, something like that. Um, Brian Thomas Jr. is averaging like 17 yards a catch, and they both have they have the exact same yardage almost within like 50 yards of each other. But Neighbors has like 20 more catches or something crazy. You know what I mean?
I think the
So
offense just goes through neighbors more with the Giants.
yeah, and Thomas is the big shot guy, and also the a little he has a little he's fully emerged as their number one alpha, but they treat him differently, like you said, than Neighbors. Plus, you have Roma Dunze in there, and I wouldn't forget about him either. He's got potential too. So I totally understand your pick, and you very well might be right. I think he's great, but I'm going to take the other side just because I think there's a couple guys that could catch him.
I would agree with that.
Right on. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, there's true and false for the week, man.
All right, let's look at a couple schedules just to see the road ahead for some of these teams.
Yeah, you tell me. I was thinking maybe the NFC West would be a good one to do since there's four teams in it. We could look at theirs, but you tell me if there's one you want to hit first. I'm in.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, actually, you know what? Let's put a pin in that for a second. I want to
Hmm.
go know Baltimore schedule the rest of the way
Oh, great.
with
Okay,
their
great.
four losses.
Yep, that's a great one. Let me see. I have them all pulled up here, but the tabs are really tiny because I have 50 tabs pulled
We
up.
can
Here we
start
go.
closing them now as we go.
Yes, thank goodness. I'll be able to see things again. All right. So here we go. Oh, wow. This is fascinating. Okay. So, Ravens, we know they're playing the Chargers this week. We talked about it. Very tough game. We both picked them to lose. Guess who they play next week? The Eagles.
Okay.
Now, then they get the Giants, piece of cake. Then they're back to the Steelers. So that's four games, three potential losses. The next week they play the Texans, another tough game.
Where is that game?
In Dang it, the way this does it is confusing. I believe it's a home game, but give me one sec.
Well, no worries. It's all good.
Okay, NRG. Who plays at NRG Stadium?
Houston.
Okay, so that's in Houston.
Oh, so it's a road game.
Yep,
That's going to be tougher.
tougher. I mean, that's no joke, man. That is a super difficult schedule. I mean, I would have a hard time picking them going more than 500.
Yeah, I mean, unless they really hit their stride and just become the second best team in the league, which we have no no reference for that right now. There's no reason to think that right now.
Yeah, at their best, they've looked like they can play with anybody, but they are inconsistent at putting their best effort there. So I'm with you 100%. They have two games that look easy: the Giants and the Ravens. Four that look difficult: Texans, Steelers, Eagles, Chargers. That's a
Giants
tough
and
road.
who?
Texans, Ravens, Steelers. I'm sorry, Texans, Eagles, Steelers, Chargers,
And the Giants and who are the easy games?
Giants, and Browns.
Okay, you said Ravens a couple times. I was getting
Sorry about
confused.
that. Yeah, they're playing themselves.
The only ones who
Oh
would
man,
beat us is ourselves. Okay,
yeah,
very interesting. All right,
it is.
well, that means Pittsburgh's road must not be that great either.
Well, let's take a look. We know they're playing the Browns this week. That's relatively easy. Then they get the Bengals, who is the toughest under 500 team in the league right now. I would think
Yep.
personally. Then you have the Browns again. Wow, they have the Browns twice in 3 weeks. Oh, then they get the Eagles, and then they play each other, and then they play the Chiefs on the last week of the season. So
Oh,
their road
so
is
their
just
last
as
3 weeks are Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs.
rough. Yeah, how about that?
Oh, that's a tough schedule.
Woo, man! They better beat the Browns twice and the Bengals.
Yeah, they have to because they can lose all three of those games.
Yep, they'll go if they do that. They'll go into that 3 game stretch with only 2 losses,
Right, and even if they lose all three, that's only five losses. They'll be 11. They'll be
12 and
12
five,
and
right?
five,
Yeah,
and that's assuming they're going to lose all three of those. They could win one or two of those games, or maybe even all three.
absolutely, absolutely, 100%.
So
And they
that is
could
a tough
also
one.
lose that Bengals game. Very
Yeah, they
easy.
can't lose that Bengals game.
Yep, they have to win that game. Have to win that game. Okay, very cool. All right,
All
and
right.
they're the only two in contention in that division. Is there any other team you want to see there?
No, no.
Okay. All right, where to next?
Let's go to our division because I want to talk about Washington's schedule. I pulled it up. I have it right here too.
Okay, great.
We have them obviously with the Cowboys this week. That should be a win. I tell you what, their schedule is not too bad.
No, other than the Eagles and the Falcons, it's a piece of cake.
Yeah, I mean they got Dallas, the Titans, and the Saints. They should win all three of those.
They absolutely should.
Then you guys, but at home. Then
Yep.
the Falcons at home, and then Dallas on the road, and it doesn't matter. Dallas will lose that game. So if they can split the Atlanta Philadelphia part of their schedule, win one of those games, and win the other games that they should, which is Dallas twice, the Titans, and the Commanders, that gives them how many wins?
That adds up to 4 losses if I did it right. So that's what's that, 13-4?
Jeez.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Who would have thought 13-4? And you know what? I
No
would
way.
consider that likely. Like they're
Yeah.
looking at the
I mean,
schedule,
it's
they're likely to do that, to get 13 wins.
yeah, no, I think that's absolutely fair. The other side to that, if I want to put a damper on that a little bit, is they could lose one of these games they're not supposed to lose because Jaden Daniels' rib situation has him playing very mediocre right now.
Right.
But if but on the surface, 100% with you, 100% with you. Yeah, wow, that's interesting. And the Eagles' schedule is not that favorable. They have a tough game this week against the Rams, play the Ravens the following week. Then they get the Panthers, thank goodness. But then they play the Steelers, Commanders, and then they get the Cowboys. So they have 4 games I would consider tough, 2 games I would consider easy.
How do
A
they
lot
have the
different than the Commanders.
How do they have the Cowboys? The Cowboys' last game is against the Commanders.
Oh wait, is that not the last game of the season? Did I not click a tab that I needed to click? Oh crap! Yeah, I missed their January 5th game. Sorry, second to last game is the Cowboys for the Eagles, and then they get the Giants. That's
Okay.
awesome.
So
So
the
three.
last two games are piece of cake, but there is some. I tell you, the Ravens Pittsburgh games, those are going to be great games.
I can't wait to see how they hang with those teams. I mean, that's going to be really fun to watch. It's going to be fascinating.
All right, I want to go to an interesting team. Do you have the Broncos schedule pulled up?
I certainly do. Absolutely, because I certainly consider them a contender now. No doubt about it. All right, here we go.
Oh my God,
Yeah, right,
it's not
right.
bad.
No, it's interesting. Well, the last three though.
Yeah, yeah,
For 3 weeks, it looks great. Raiders, Browns, Colts a little tougher, depending on what happens with where Anthony Richardson
but they
is
are
going to go.
home.
They are home, but then the last 3 weeks, Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs.
Right, Chiefs is home, and they beat them last year, if you remember.
Yeah,
Um,
they almost beat them a couple weeks ago.
right, Chiefs at home. Bengals is on the road. That's gonna be tougher. But the one that I think that I will definitely not pick them to win,
Hmm.
assuming things stay the way they are, and when that game pops up, would be the Chargers game because it's on the road. I probably would pick the Chargers to win that game.
I agree. I
And
totally agree.
Bengals depends. I mean, we're talking 4 weeks from now. If the Bengals and Joe Burrow just keep throwing for 400 yards a game and putting up massive points on the road, I might pick Cincinnati as well.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Also, I would say the Bengals could be they could be 4-10 by then, and everybody's moping around.
Right.
So that could go either way. I'm with you.
Right, and then the Chiefs. I think we would probably pick the Chiefs, but wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos win that game. Might be like an upset pick or something like
Yeah,
that.
who knows if the Chiefs' offense is still play, which I don't expect, but we are 12 weeks in by now. If the Chiefs' offense is still playing like it is, that could very well be a Broncos pick.
Absolutely. Okay.
Fascinating.
Um. Well, let's see here. I'm trying to see if there's any. Um. I figure we'll just hit the NFC West last.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
what is the Charger schedule?
Perfect. I just pulled it up, anticipating that might be where you went. I like it. Um, let's see here. So we know about the Ravens this week, big game. Then they play the Chargers in Atlanta.
That is the Chargers.
Oh, God, why do I keep doing that? I'm sorry. I'm having some kind of fit. Um, they play the Falcons in Atlanta,
I would still
which,
think. I mean, the way Atlanta's playing.
yeah, who knows? Because listen, 2 weeks ago we were anointing Atlanta as one of the best teams in the NFC. Now they look like a mess. So I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't know. That one's up in the air.
I agree. Then they play the Chiefs.
Tough on the road.
Then they play the Chargers.
That's that.
I'm idiot. Buccaneers. Sorry. Good lord. Good heavens. I think I might be having a stroke.
It's so funny. Oh,
Oh man,
I
I'm going
don't
to
mean to
put it back
laugh
in.
at you.
I'm
That's just
surprised I didn't
funny.
say the San Diego Chargers, Craig.
Uh,
Oh God. All right. So here, let me stop saying the Chargers. We got the Buccaneers. Then
I would probably pick them in that game.
pick the Chargers.
Yeah, at home,
Agreed. Agreed. Um, then you have the Broncos.
which we just talked about and said we probably wouldn't when we were saying we probably wouldn't pick the Broncos in that game.
Right.
So
Agreed.
Chargers again.
Then they get the Patriots and the Raiders to close the season.
I mean that they might lose one more game the rest of the way.
It's
Maybe two.
possible they win this division.
Maybe two more games.
It
Yeah.
is. Let's now we got to look at the Chiefs' schedule next because the Chiefs only have one loss and the Chargers have three. But the Chiefs' schedule has to be much more difficult than that, given they were in the freaking they won the Super Bowl last year. Let's see.
It didn't matter. New England won the Super Bowl every year, and every year they have the easiest schedule in the league.
Yeah, that's because the NFL was cheating for the Patriots too.
Well, in the end, well, not only that, but their division was horrible and basically gave them 6 wins every year.
Right, right, yes. And I was kidding about the NFL cheating for them. I just bitter about their cheating. Um, okay, so Chiefs and Panthers, we know about that one. Piece of cake. Then they get the Raiders next week. Awesome. Um, then they get the Chargers, which
Oh
we
my
just
God,
talked.
it's not that bad.
No, it's not. They get the Browns. They get
That's
the
three easy 3 wins right there. The Chargers game, they're at home, so they're going to be favored there. The Texans, they're at home again. The
on the
only one
road at
that's
the
going to
Steelers.
the one that's going to be really interesting is the Christmas Day against the Steelers in Pittsburgh. That's the schedule. That's the game.
That's a fun game, man. And I mean the over under might be 24 in that game.
If the Chiefs offense doesn't get kick it in, yeah.
Yeah,
And then the
man.
last game, the Broncos is going to be tough because it's in Denver.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean
So
this
it
division could
does,
come down to the wire.
yeah, it doesn't get real tough for them for a while, but once it does, it's not easy.
No, I'm with you. That's gonna that division is a lot closer than it looks right now.
Yep. All right. Yeah, if you want, we can start hitting the NFC West.
Yeah, this is a fun one, man. So let's start
Let's go with
let's
Seattle first.
okay, here we go. Seattle. Where are they this week? They have that they have that Cardinals game that we talked about. That's going to be a super close, fun affair. We both think.
Yep.
Then they get the Jets.
All right, that's a win.
Then they play the Cardinals again.
Let's just say they split with the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Then they have the Packers, the Vikings, the Bears, and the Rams. That is not an easy home stretch.
Packers and Vikings is made a little easier because they're at home for both of them.
No doubt, but two good teams.
Could they split that? Could they beat Minnesota at home?
I could definitely see that. I could see that. I'm not super impressed with Minnesota right now. So yeah,
And the
absolutely.
Bears have fallen off in my eyes quite a bit.
Yep.
They could definitely win that game in Chicago, although the weather could play a factor at that point.
It could be
And
wild.
then
Yeah.
a real tough game in the division to close it out. And I don't know where I would go with this. Chances are I'd go Rams in this game, but they have the Rams on January 5th. Um, Probably would go Rams at this point, but again, a lot of things factor into the last game of the year: who's playing, who's not, who's in it, who's not. And we don't know that right now. But on the surface, I would probably go Rams over Seahawks at home since they're at home.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you there. I'm with you there. Like with all variables aside, I'm with you 100%. Wow. Okay. So which team do you want to see next in that division?
Just real quick to wrap up Seattle. Overall, what do you
Hmm.
think of the schedule? Like, is it tough? I think it's kind of tough, but not crazy.
Yeah, it's middling tough. They have
It's the muck of the schedules.
yeah, it really is. It really is. They have three division matchups, two against the Seahawks and one against the Rams. Those are all going to be tough. Um,
Two against the
and
Cardinals.
did I just do it again?
Yeah, you said Seahawks.
What in the world is wrong with me, Craig?
Two
All
against
right,
the Seahawks.
Cardinals and Seahawks, tough.
Hey, man, I said it before, but I'm not trying to make fun of you. I think
No,
it's hysterical.
I'm glad you are because I don't want it to sit out there like it was right either. Oh man. Oh, I was listening to our baseball pod we did where I always mispronounce Class A's name is Clace, and
Yep.
my only regret is that Dylan didn't bring up Garrett Crochet earlier, so I could have interrupted and said you mispronounced it. It's actually Crotchet.
Is it really Crotchet?
No, it's totally not, but
Oh,
that's how I would pronounce it.
that would have been great.
Oh, I wish I had thought of it at the time.
Oh, that would have been fantastic.
Oh, I love it. All right, so yeah, I'm with you, man. This is like, and then they do have two tough matchups, but they get them at home against NFC North teams with the Packers and the Vikings. So that's fascinating, man. I don't know. A lot of that's going to depend on where those teams are at the time. You know,
Yep, yep.
that's a tough one to read the tea leaves on, but it's not overwhelmingly difficult. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Cardinals right now, and I mean, just a lot of teams in the muck. I don't know what to think of. Again, Arizona is so difficult to predict. Anyway, we already said we think they'll split with Seattle.
Hmm.
In between those games, they've got the Vikings on the road. I don't know because we're kind of souring on Sam Darnold a little bit.
Yes, but I'm not souring to the point where I can't. I would say that's not a tough matchup for sure.
No, you're right. But then they get the Patriots and the Panthers back to back.
That's nice. Holy crap!
Not bad at all. But then it ramps back up though. The Rams on the road and the Niners to close out the season.
Yeah, they get a nice little oasis in those earlier 2 weeks, and then a tough last two. Yeah, that's an interesting one, man. That's not easy, but they have a couple gimmies in there, so that's nice too.
Right. There's no. We haven't come up with anybody who's really had just all gimmies at all.
No, no,
Um,
and none of them are crazy like hardest schedule in the league either. They're all tough to tell right now, middling sort of some tough stuff
Baltimore's
to
is
piece
pretty
together.
close though.
Which one?
The Ravens, their schedule's tough.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry. I was just talking about this division, but
Oh yeah,
you're
yeah,
absolutely right about Baltimore. No doubt. No doubt.
pretty tough. Anyway, so let's go to the Niners.
Yes.
Oh, good
Now.
lord.
Oh,
Oh,
this. Oh boy.
they get the Packers, then the Bills, then the Bears. Okay, I'll give them that one. The Rams at home. I guess we'll say they're going to split with them. Oh wait, no. Did the Rams already play? Yeah, they already played the Rams. Did they? Who won that game?
Trying to find it. The Rams did.
All right. Well,
So we'll give them a split, but it's going to be a tough game.
wow.
That Dolphins game the week after that is now to me not nearly what it would have been 2 weeks ago. That's now a potentially tough game, depending where they are at that time and if two is still healthy.
What happened here? I lost the game.
Which one? Are you the?
I lost the schedule completely.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
No,
no,
no.
no, I got it. We're good. We're good.
Okay, sweet,
Okay.
sweet.
Yeah, the Rams game. Yeah, the Niners are back at home. Maybe they can get revenge on that one. But then the Dolphins on the road, if they're resurgent and playing well, it's going to be tough. And then the
Tough
Lions,
Lions.
and
That's.
then
I mean, geez,
the Cardinals again, which we don't know. But Packers, Bills, Rams, and Lions
that's tough.
and Dolphins really are
And
in
the
those
Dolphins
games.
in there, yeah, being tough again
And
potentially. Yeah,
and Arizona on the road.
yeah. Who is the division leader right now? So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. I
The
mean,
only one that's not tough really is the Bears, and they're at home. They should win that game on the surface, you would think.
yeah, but the Bears' first week under offensive coordinator almost beat the Packers if it wasn't for a blocked field goal. So who knows where they'll be, at that point in the season either. Although on the surface, easily the easiest game of the schedule right now. That's a tough one, dude. That's tough.
That's right there with the Ravens in terms of the toughest, I think.
Completely agree. And the Niners have been so shaky this year; it would be hard to pick them to win the division based off of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um, so the Rams, the last team in that division,
Mm-hmm.
you got the Eagles, tough. Saints should win. Bills, tough, obviously, even though they're at home.
Yep.
Niners on the road,
Tough.
tough. Then they have the Jets win.
Yep.
Cardinals at home, tough. Either way, I'm not sure. They close with the Cardinals and Seahawks, both of them at home.
Well, they'll have a chance to beat the teams they need to beat. That's tough too, man. That's not. What? I mean,
Yeah,
geez, they got the Eagles and the Bills and the Niners,
and the
Seahawks and
Cardinals.
Rams. That's pretty tough, man. That's pretty tough.
The only one that's a gimme really is the Saints.
Yep.
That's
The
it.
Jets.
And the Jets, right? Saints and Jets.
They got two gimmies and one, two, three, and five toughies.
Yeah, not good, not good.
That's
Um,
tough, man.
what I want to hit real quick too is the Lions.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So,
With
what
one
do we got?
win, where can they get tripped up?
Okay, well, it's
With
not.
one
This week
loss, one
we
loss.
did not pick them to get tripped up by the Colts this week. That's for sure.
Right now, interdivision game. I'm still not thinking they're going to beat. They're gonna have no problem with the Bears. I would assume.
Agreed.
Then they have
They
the
get the
Packers, but they're at home.
Yep, tough game, but they're at home. I would have to pick them for sure.
Then here's a tough one, but it's the Bills, but they're at home again.
Yes, yes.
So that one is a tough one, though. That one I can see going either way. And then they have the Bears again. I don't think, even though that one's on the road, no problem. Uh, they have the Niners, which I'm sure when the NFL made the schedule, they were like, "Oh, that's going to be the game," and it's really not. I don't consider. I mean, it's a good game, but the Niners are 500.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
I'm sorry, brother. I didn't hear much of that last bit, but it's all good. My phone was getting blown up. I think I'm good now.
Oh, I was just saying. Against the Bears the second time, no problem. And I'm sure the NFL thought making the Lions Niners on December 30th was a great idea. And it still should be a pretty good game, but the Niners are not what we thought.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
I would pick the Lions in that game.
Right now, for sure, for
And
sure.
then the last game they have is the Vikings uh
At home,
at home. I don't know if could they go 16-1?
it's possible, man. I mean, it's unlikely just because it's so rare that it even that kind of thing happens, and they do have couple tough games, but all their tough games except the Niners are at home.
Yeah.
It's
I'm looking
possible.
at it. I'm not going to pick them to lose any of these games.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean
think.
it
No.
a lot could change between now and then with the 49ers. But right now, I would pick them to win every game.
Right. The Bills is going to be tough.
No doubt. And if that was in Buffalo, I might pick Buffalo. But at home, I pick the Lions for sure.
Right. So they could do it, but chances are you're right. Though, even if it's a game that you don't expect, like the Bears will beat them, something stupid like that.
No
Uh,
doubt.
because that's just the way things work sometimes in the NFL. But other than that, I mean, I think 15-2 is a likely scenario.
Yeah, which is crazy.
I think that's likely. I and that's making them get tripped up one more time in a game that we would be picking them to win. That's given them one of those losses, and they still is only 15-2.
Yeah, man. No, that's absolutely legit. I can't believe that. That's crazy. Yeah, that's something else, man.
All right, I'm good with the schedules if you are.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, I don't even want to get into the garbage of the NFC South.
Not real. No, no, they're gonna sort that out eventually, I think.
And
But
then the Bills stand alone in the AFC East. They don't have zero competition, so not much worried about there. So yeah, other than that, we covered most of it. So that's great.
yep. All right. Well, another week down, my friend.
We did it. We did it. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, this was a great week. Just in general, a great week, and just a great week to talk about. A great preview to talk about for the next week because there's some interesting games and things are going to start really shaking out here, especially in the NFC West.
No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. It's going to be it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see where that ends up at the end of the season. I think everybody thought it was going to be the Niners, and that is very unclear. I had a true and false last week. Last week, Craig, the true and false was somebody other than the 49ers will win the NFC West, and we both said false. Now, I would say true because they're not that great, and the odds are against them. They're in a cluster with every team in their division.
They can't. Yeah, Brock Purdy's not playing that great. But the thing is, it's weird, is because the personnel's still there for the most part. I know Kittle didn't play this week, but still, for the most part, other than Ayuk, the talent's there, and they were so good last year. It's kind of it's just weird. The fact that McCaffrey's back and they still lost this week.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not the same. Their window's closing.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. And the Ayuk thing, the other side, the other part of that is Ayuk was having a terrible season.
He
He held
was.
out, and then he played like crap. So when he went out, they barely missed anything. You know what I mean? Like he was awful. Like it was unbelievable how bad he was,
Yep.
given the talent we all know he has. So he goes out. So what, and it's just the weirdest thing. I can't figure it out. Other than, like I've said over and over, they are clearly more than most teams, especially good teams, really struggle to adapt to injuries, and I'm not sure what that is. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. And do we have any word on Bosa?
Last I saw, there was nothing definitive, but let me look because that was last night, and something might have come out.
'Cause if he's out for a significant amount of time, that's going to be a big blow.
Oh, that's huge, huge. Any update yet? The 49ers may have a Nick Bosa problem now too. That's a headline. Nothing definitive yet.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry, I had to go across the room for a second. Anyway,
Oh, I could have stretched for you. Sorry.
no worries, no worries. uh,
Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. I got it. I got an actual write up here, not just guessing.
okay. Okay, cool.
Hip oblique injury and will be evaluated throughout the week. Nothing definitive, but at least we know it's the where it is. He might. So that's one of those maybes. Big fat maybe.
All right. Yeah, they need him back ASAP.
Oh, that's a massive. That's their defensive equivalent of them losing Trent Williams off their offensive line when that happens.
Yep, yep. Okay, man. Another great week. I'm excited to get back to next week. Are we going to be doing the baseball podcast with Jordan on the catchers next week? Is that what we're doing next week?
I'm pretty sure we had tentatively set Monday at 2 or something like that. I think.
Okay, so that's the baseball podcast. It's called The Baseline. It is Jordan, the Unicorns podcast, and we're going to be going over the top 10 catchers of all time.
I can't wait. That's a fun one, man. I already have made my preliminary list, and now we're in the home stretch, and I will fine tune it for this coming week.
Right? And then, as usual, on Tuesday, we'll be getting to the week 11, or what are we on? Week 12 review, and the week 13 preview as normal, starting on Tuesday, like we always do.
Love it, man. Love it. Yep, absolutely.
That'll be back here on this podcast. Okay, Al, anything last thing to add?
I don't really have anything this week, man. That was fun. Thank you as always, and looking forward to next week and doing the baseball thing.
Going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait. All right. Make sure you guys join us. If you didn't catch the review, check that one out. And until next time, I will see you later.